Hi everyone, it's Brian Waters here from the QTube. I'm happy to present the third and final part of our chat with Dylan Vivian, Director of Photography, and with Archie Jennings, Composer. An interesting chat to finish off the series of 3. If you haven't seen the other 2, please do. They're also here on our YouTube channel. So today we're going to talk about a number of interesting things. I've got my little list here. We're going to talk about how Dylan and Archie work together on projects. We're going to talk about the challenges of multitasking when you're working on different projects at the same time, how you can juggle those and balance those. We're going to talk about the difficulty or challenge or just the way to deal with revisions and how to keep your own artistic integrity and identity and vision during a project while also balancing those revisions from the director or from whoever. We're also going to talk about the idea of perhaps becoming a director yourself in the future, the pros and cons and attractions or otherwise of that idea. And finally, we're going to talk about some of the ways of starting out, how they started out, how they established themselves in the industry, the importance of making connections, networks, producing work that you're proud of, and all the rest of it. So I hope that there's some useful and interesting information for you here. So without further ado, over to Dylan and Archie. How did you start working together, actually? How did it start?
Well, just on the set of For Queen.
Oh, you were doing the...
I was doing boom operating.
Yeah, that's it, wasn't it? Yeah. To be honest, on an actual shoot, Archie and I would have very little to do with each other.
Right.
It's only because Archie and I are like close friends that we would talk about the same project, and I always, like I said, try and get Archie on the projects I'm doing because I believe in that team, you know, same makeup artists and things like that. But yeah, in terms of set, both of us would talk with the director, and the director would then just talk back with us. So in fact, we would have no interaction really with each other. But I do think that's a shame though, because there's so much overlap. Like
it helps a lot. It helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure it does.
It really does, yeah.
To know the aesthetic that I'm creating on screen and Archie's creating in terms of sound is really
part of the whole thing,
it's part of the whole thing.
And they should interplay a little bit.
And I think
for sure they should.
About like knowing, obviously I don't know a lot about cinematography or lighting or whatever, but a composer should know what's what, like kind of the technicalities. I mean, I listen to the Deacons podcast a lot, and I watch a lot of videos on how things are shot.
And like, beautiful. That's very cool, man.
And like you listen to a lot of gorgeous music that works, and so it's about knowing
industry.
Yeah, because as soon as you understand like how things are produced, you can really that helps how you create.
For sure, I couldn't agree more with that. You know what? Archie will often compose watching what I've shot on a big film, like the one we're doing the end of the year. You'll probably do that final composition watching what I've shot. So what you're seeing that I've shot is evoking emotion in you to bring that out in music. And the same with Solace now. When I hear your music, that evokes emotion in me, and I think about my pictures slightly differently. So I've already altered the way I want to shoot it based just off that sound alone. So his music has changed the way I see that project, and my shots will change the way he sees a project when he's composing it. So we 100% are, you know, intertwined.
Sparking off each other.
For sure. For sure.
It's probably relatively unusual, is it, for the music to influence the visuals rather than the other way around?
Yeah,
relatively unusual.
I mean, apart from the music video world, which is all about that. But yeah, for film, for sure, there's very few times, apart from sometimes, like I said, with Hans Zimmer and Interstellar, where the score came before everything.
I think on Tenet with Ludwig Göransson, he'd written the main theme before they started shooting.
Really?
Yeah,
I think Christopher Nolan likes to work on it first, the sound as he's writing.
Right.
Which is, I mean, you think about Bond and things like that, like the sound is so unique and so amazing. It's like would so inspire what you actually want to create then. Yeah.
Nice one, man.
Yeah,
Right.
so in that respect, Arch and I are unusual in how connected we are in the process, but at the same time I think that's a shame because we really should be connected.
Yeah. Completely.
It's
But
got,
the director's the one that's connecting us.
it's got to
Yeah.
be to the benefit of the project, isn't it?
For sure.
It has to be.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good to stay updated on what's
Yeah.
going on.
And I would imagine that it allows you both to just deliver results more quickly as well, as much as anything else, because you're
definitely.
both on the same page.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it would be only a director that would usually like unite us two.
Yeah.
I'd say some of the director that would then
Right.
pass it on to Archie.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
nice that we can just
Yeah.
chat directly together.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's kind of like you're creating the director's vision, so you understanding the technicalities of what each other does, kind of stuff that the director doesn't necessarily think about. They just have this vision. You work together to create the vision, and you like really get bogged down in the details. Like I get phone calls from Dylan, like this violin sound doesn't quite work, or something like that.
Yeah.
I want it less like it could be less legato, and I'm thinking that's right, and like just understanding what each other's doing helps to create
be able
that
to speak
vision
the
of the
same language
director.
as well. Mm-hmm.
I see Archie's music with visuals.
Yeah.
Like when I hear it, like there's colours and things that I can hear in it.
Yeah.
So when something pops out of the surface that I don't quite see sitting into that painting, whenever he's experimenting with him, it stands out even more to me. Like we've worked with Colette, who's directing pieces, and she won't notice these things, and I'll say to her, "Whoa, that really jars with me. But that sounds amazing. Like, how about if you brought more of that in?" So in a way, my kind of visual mind then translates into this kind of soundscape that
Works so well.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
And do you think this is more likely to happen with a smaller team? I guess,
Yes, for sure.
And this is one
Yeah,
of the great
completely.
things
Yeah,
about
sure.
Perhaps it's something that you can enjoy more at the start of your career than you're going to be able to enjoy
For
later
sure.
on.
The likelihood of Archie and I meeting, the likelihood of Archie and I meeting on a shoot or on a project in a couple of years' time is very slim. Even though we could work on the same film, I may never meet the composer ever.
Unless the industry changes the way it works, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's just not often a reason for the composer to be on set, and there's not often a reason for the DP to be offset, in post-production, apart from the color grade. But so there's no our paths don't really cross as such in the production process.
Literally on makeup, like you've just seen today, I've written some music for it. He shot it, and he's only today seen.
Yeah, I've only just seen it.
the editor of it, and so he's been able to see my music on it.
Right.
I suppose also for a DP, I'd say probably 90% of my time on a project will be on set, or 80-90%. On some projects you need more pre-production work. So for that reason I move through projects very fast. I could be shooting, for example, I'm shooting 3 completely different projects next week alone. So that means that once I'm done with that project, I've moved on to something else. Whereas Archie might sit with that project for a couple months, in post-production or creating something. So I don't know. I suppose we move at kind of different paces in projects. So you're seeing that edit for something that I shot last year, but I still haven't seen it because I've moved on to lots of different things since then. Whereas Archie's still, Archie's work is a lot longer, kind of a lot longer.
How difficult is it to work on different projects simultaneously and sort of stay in the zone, as it were, on each one of what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah,
Is that difficult?
I'm not the best multitasker. So when I'm on a project, I just blinker myself to that project, and then the moment that project is done, then literally the day we wrap, I will go back home and then start straight away looking at the next one.
Right.
But it is difficult for sure when you've got lots going on in your head, and there's so many images that's going on, and especially when they're 2 different styles completely, it's really hard to try and focus your brain and thinking about, okay, this is the style that I want to create for that, and this is the lighting package I want to do for that. But I think that's quite often why big deep piece of work on a film for 2 months or whatever, and then that's it. You're moving on to the next one. At least you've got that window of time where you just solely focus on that. Whereas music videos and commercial, that is hard work, really hard, where you're moving really
Jumping
at such
around.
pace. Sometimes you're doing a 1 or 2 day shoot for music videos, which is fast, and then you're straight on to the next one after that. I think it gets, it's a good question, because I think it does get to a stage where you compromise, or you're compromising the look of the films and the music videos, because your brain space isn't big enough to move from those projects so quickly. You then start to just kind of warp everything into one, and it kind of all starts to look the same.
And what about you in terms of working on multiple kind of projects?
I
find it.
I think I'm pretty good at. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at working on different things at different times. But sometimes I'll be working on something, and then I'll hear about a new project I'm going to be working on. I'll get excited to work on that thing. So I'm like, I could just like put this aside for today that I'm already working on, and then I can like write some piano stuff like late at night for a different project. Especially now in the retreat. But yeah, I think I'm pretty good at that. I mean, I can at creating a certain tone here, and then I'll have this tone here, and then I think it depends what mood I'm in. Like, what do I want to work on? Obviously, there are deadlines to be met, but yeah.
Do you find that hard as a composer to stay on one project and not kind of wander?
It depends how many revisions I've had of the same piece and stuff, and I don't find it hard. I completely enjoy the process, like from start to finish. But as soon as I know about a different project, and I've been working on this piece for like a month now, and it's had like 30 different revisions. I think, oh come on, just let me play with something here. But it works.
So revisions make your biggest frustration, basically.
Well, just revisions where they're not like where
he's being kind now because I give him 1,000 revisions.
Revisions where it definitely works, like things that you and Colette tell me. I can see it. I can see.
Sure.
That's why this changed. Revisions where it's just like where someone comes to me and says, it just needs to be just a bit more, I don't know, like this, like it just needs something, and I think what tell me, but you're pretty good at going, I just need like bring this out more, and I need it, maybe it could do with some cello or something. You're really good at that.
Some legato.
Question for both of you then, as composers and people of the music industry, is that kind of process of having someone else tell you that it's not quite right, is that a hard process? Because I feel bad every single time I give you a note. Because I know you're going to go no, but because when I ask Archie to do something, I want Archie's note on it, his touch on it, because I think he's amazing. But then I think to myself, every time I give Archie a note, am I slowly removing Archie's touch? Am I actually making it more me, and Archie's just playing the piano for it? Because that's something I definitely don't want to do. So how do you guys take it then when a director or someone gives you notes?
I'm not really a composer. I mean, this is for Archie, really.
There is a thing where, as a composer, it's hard, or even I guess just working in any creative industry, it's hard not to take things personally. But it's something you build up, and you start to be open to new things as soon as you gain a tiny bit of experience. I only have a tiny bit of experience, but it's easier. It's easier to not take things personally. But it does. Sometimes it depends. If I feel like I've really nailed something, and then I'm told it's just not right at all, that is hard. That is harder. Like I think, I really worked hard on this, and it's really what I thought was perfect. Was it fine? It's really what I thought was perfect, and then it's just like, no, that's not right at all. But no, it never feels like I enjoy you guys' notes. I do. Which is why I love working on those projects like Solace and Astra. Yeah, which is why I really enjoy those, because they feel like we're all kind of building it together. Not just this is what I see, you didn't do it right. It feels like we're just creating it together. Yeah.
Do you ever look back and hear a piece of music and think, I still believe that's totally wrong for that piece?
No. Sometimes I see. Sometimes I don't look back and think that's totally wrong. I can see the director's vision, definitely, and when I get it right, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, that's great, but I still wanted this bit in there. But even if it's just like a stupid flute sound or something that I really wanted in there, that I thought, yeah, that's perfect. How can you not see that?
And they're not feeling it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing, I'd say, Brian. Working, because both of us, Archie's head of music in terms of a film as the composer. He's head of music, and I'd be head of the visual. That we're both answering to a director who has their one vision, and sometimes, like what bits I just watched there, there's things I noticed in there that I told them at the time I didn't want to shoot it like that, and for me still when I watch it back it doesn't work. But that's always going to happen, and it will happen for every DP for the rest of the career, you know. And I'm sure that, I don't know, that's why I was asking for you, you know, are there times where you look back at something and think, I still stand by what I said there, that to me doesn't sound right, that needed something extra, or that to go. It's hard because you're working with a director who isn't a composer, who just knows what they like the sound of and likes the look of. Whereas both Archie and I are honing our whole career and skill and passion just based on sound and visuals.
And is directing something that would interest you?
No. Not really. What about you, Arch?
I don't know. I think if I ever directed anything, it would be based on the music.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll be walking around listening to something, being like, wow, this could really do with a visual.
A lighthouse.
Yeah, no, it's a good question though. But
why were you so categoric? What is it about directing or is it purely that you're so passionate about?
I love being a DP. I think the thing that puts me off about being a director is you're so involved in the project in a way that I don't think I would be enjoy to be involved in. So working with the actors closely, I don't think I'd love to do. And also, say you're a writer and you gave me a script, there's 100 million ways that I could tell that story. Obviously I could tell it how I think, but I'd always think to myself in my head, am I telling this the right way that it needs to be told? It's kind of like there's almost too much responsibility with that. And yeah, I don't know, there are times where I think, oh, that director's really wrong there with that decision. I definitely wouldn't have told the actor to do that. But
not even for something small.
Yeah, maybe for something small. Maybe for something small. But even then, I still would only do it if I was involved, as a DP, lighting and shooting it myself. I don't think I could ever direct something and only be the director. Just wouldn't. Yeah, it just doesn't really interest me. You know what? There's so many amazing directors out there that are just so brilliant at conveying their concept and their idea, and they bring something to life that really never had life, and that's a skill set that I just don't have. I don't think.
So how have you sort of, if you can tell us, how have you established yourself? How have you made the connections with directors and got into projects? What were the first steps that you did to establish yourself?
I'd say the most important thing is producing as much work as you can. Good work as you can, and working harder than everyone else in some respects to just make things happen. And I've pushed so many people to make things happen because I know that if that gets made, then I also have another piece in my portfolio, and everyone else benefits from my push also because it gets made.
It helps me.
You don't really need. You don't need much pushing. There are people that need pushing. You're not really one of them. Really? But yeah, so I think really your work speaks volumes. The project that Archie and I are working on at the end of the year, which is our biggest project
Yeah.
to date that we would have both worked on, which has by far the biggest budget that we've ever worked
Yeah.
on, kind of by like 50 times the budget
Right.
really that we've worked on,
Right.
and with some big actors too, which is really cool.
That's great.
That came from Luna, the director who's directing that as Watch Luna.
I see.
So I'd say something that I've learned is that there's no project too small
Yeah.
to help you progress your career.
Okay.
You could shoot something in 3 hours,
Right.
but if it's beautifully shot and,
Yeah.
and works really well, and the vibes or the juju, we call it, the energy on set is
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
then it
It's like
then
your calling card.
exactly
Yeah.
then it will translate, and you're
Somebody will see it.
exactly
Yeah.
getting work out there and being in the network is great. Like there's the industry is such a small industry.
Yeah.
So many people know each other.
Right.
That if you have something out there and it gets passed on, by 3 different people, you're most likely to gonna get a big spread. And also, there are so many productions being made all the time. There's so many productions being produced all the time. Like on my way home last week on a shoot, I probably saw about 3 signs
Yeah.
showing me different locations for other
yeah.
shoots, and that's just on my 12-minute drive home. There's so much going on.
Wow.
So we're really fortunate that we do work in an industry where there is so much going on. Yeah, I mean,
But
I'd say
yeah, just to like constantly produce work that you're proud of.
yeah,
I think
For
is
sure.
really important, because
For
I
sure.
am really quite proud of like some of the stuff we've
mate,
done.
you should
yeah.
be. It's amazing. The more
like proud of everyone in the in the
for sure,
in
the family.
whole
Yeah.
project.
yeah.
Yeah, the more you produce, the more you also learn as
Mm.
well.
Yeah.
You realise what doesn't and does work.
Yeah.
But
And then
Archie,
you're ready for the-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Archie, that's a really good point. Archie said there, the family kind of aspect of film sets is probably one of my favourite things about it, and what kind of pulls me away from my normal job that I do towards the film world is the kind of family aspect that Archie
Yeah.
and I are totally different ends of the project,
Yeah.
but we come together as this kind of as brothers or sisters in the
Yeah.
process to
Yeah.
create this amazing piece together as a
Right.
family.
Cool. Nice.
It's great.
Yeah. Maybe that's a good note to end the interview.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Pleasure.
been
Thank you
great.
for having me on. And in the retreat. Archie.
In the
Thank you for
retreat.
having
Right, yeah.
Thank you for having us in the retreat.
So there we are. That's the end of our interview with Dylan and with Archie. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. As I say, the other 2 parts of the interview are available on our YouTube channel. So thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, your support would be appreciated on Patreon or PayPal. Please subscribe, please like the video, please share it. We're keen to grow our filmmaker and composer community as large as we can for the benefit of everybody. And yeah, I wish you a great day. Good luck with all of your creative projects, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.